goes again to the doorstep of the ANC. They must choose South Africa or they must choose Ramaphosa. The Constitutional Court was very clear. The prima facie exists, therefore it must go to the impeachment. Let's see that story of theirs of step aside, whether that step aside has got eyes or not. Because facing impeachment is equal to standing in a box in a court of law and being charged, because you are only charged when there is prima facie. Now the panel said there is prima facie, meaning he is charged in parliament. He has to face the impeachment process. Let's see if the step aside process only applies to certain individuals and doesn't apply to Ramaphosa. We know
this court has already held that the making of a specially tailored rules is obligatory to regulate the process of impeachment under Section 89, subsection 1. The National Assembly did this in passing Rules 129A to 29Q. However, the rules it passes must be effective in ensuring that appropriate action may be taken to hold the President accountable. Rule 129I permits the National Assembly to terminate the impeachment process at a preliminary stage before a full inquiry can be conducted into whether a ground listed in Section 89, subsection 1 exists. This has the effect of foreclosing full engagement with the merits of the motion, stifling informed debate and undermining the values of accountability and transparency that must inform the National Assembly's processes. It is not sufficient for the National Assembly to proceed directly from receipt of an independent panel report to a vote and thereby suppress an impeachment motion.
The walls of South Africa's constitutional democracy shook on Friday morning as the Concord delivered a judgment that could redefine the political future of President Cyril Ramaphosa and reopen one of the country's most explosive scandals. In a landmark ruling handed down at the Constitutional Hill, the Apex Court ruled in favor of the Economic Freedom Fighters and ATM, declaring that the National Assembly acted unlawfully and irrationally when it voted in December 2022 to reject the Section 89 independent panel report into Phala-Phala scandal. Judgment delivered shortly after 10 in the morning is being described by constitutional experts and political analysts as one of the most significant legal setbacks ever suffered by the sitting South African president in the democratic era. The ruling effectively revives the possibility of a full impeachment inquiry against Ramaphosa and places Parliament under immense pressure to revisit a matter many believed had been politically buried. The Constitutional Court ordered Parliament to properly process the Section 89 report and reconsider whether sufficient grounds exist to institute a full impeachment inquiry into the president's conduct. The decision arrives exactly 521 days after arguments were heard before the court, ending a prolonged period of uncertainty that had triggered mounting criticism from political parties, legal observers, and civil society organizations. At the center of the case was Rule 129 of the National Assembly's impeachment framework, the rule governing how Parliament handles reports produced by the independent panels established under Section 89 of the Constitution. The EFF argued that the rule granted Parliament excessive discretion, allowing political parties to override the findings of independent experts for partisan reasons. According to the party, the framework undermined the constitutional purpose of accountability and enabled a parliamentary majority to shield the president from scrutiny. The Constitutional Court agreed in a devastating finding against Parliament. The court held that the National Assembly's decision to reject the panel report was irrational and inconsistent with constitutional principles of accountability, oversight, and the rule of law. The court specifically scrutinized the controversial 241 to 148 vote taken on December 13, 2022, when ANC members of parliament used their majority to reject the panel's recommendation that Ramaphosa face a full impeachment inquiry. That vote, once celebrated by ANC loyalists as a political victory, has now been declared constitutionally defective. The ruling vindicates arguments long advanced by small opposition parties, including African Transformation Movement. ATM leader Vuyo Ngula had argued before the court that Parliament fundamentally failed in its constitutional oversight duties, and that the only natural thing to do would be to further scrutinize. On Friday, the Constitutional Court effectively endorsed that position. The judgment now sends the matter back to Parliament, where members of Parliament must reconsider the findings of Section 89 panel and determine whether South Africa should proceed with the formal impeachment process against the president. The ruling brings renewed focus to the scandal that first erupted in June 2022 that traces back to a mysterious break-in in February 2020 at Ramaphosa's luxurious Palapala game farm in Limpopo. According to allegations that later surfaced publicly, thieves stole a substantial amount of undeclared foreign currency hidden inside furniture on the property. The amount was reportedly close to 580,000 US dollars. Questions immediately emerged over the source of the money, why such large sums of cash were being stored privately, and whether the theft had been officially reported through lawful channels. Ramaphosa insisted that the money originated from the legitimate sale of buffalo to Sudanese businessman Mustafa Mohamed Ibrahim Hazim. However, the independent Section 89 panel, chaired by former Chief Justice Sandile Ngcobo, uncovered troubling inconsistencies in the president's explanation. The panel found that several of the buffalo allegedly sold in the transaction remained on the farm more than 2 years later. It also noted that the apparent absence of proper tax records and documentation supporting the deal. But the concerns did not stop there. The panel's report painted a deeply troubling picture of potential constitutional and legal violations at the highest office in the country. Among its findings was prima facie evidence suggesting Ramaphosa may have violated Section 96(2)(a) of the Constitution by involving himself in private business activities while serving as president. The panel also raised concerns over the source and handling of the foreign currency, questioned whether anti-corruption laws under PRICA had been violated, and criticized the failure to formally report the theft to the Directorate for Priority Crime Investigation. Perhaps most controversially, the report highlighted allegations that state resources and unofficial intelligence-style operations were used to investigate the theft and recover the money outside formal legal processes. The panel concluded that there was sufficient evidence for Parliament to launch a full impeachment inquiry. At the time, however, the ANC's parliamentary majority ensured the recommendation went nowhere. Inside the governing party, Ramaphosa's allies rallied aggressively to defend him. ANC members of parliament voted in lockstep to reject the report, arguing that the president had not been afforded a fair process and insisting the panel had exceeded its mandate. The opposition erupted in fury. EFF members of parliament disrupted proceedings in parliament, accusing the ANC of sacrificing constitutional accountability to protect political power. The chamber descended into scenes of shouting, procedural chaos, and a bitter ideological warfare as the vote unfolded. Yet, despite the outrage, the ANC's numbers prevailed. Now, more than 3 years later, the CONCORD has fundamentally altered that political equation. The court's ruling also intersects with explosive developments emerging from investigations conducted by the Independent Police Investigative Directorate. Earlier this year, declassified IPID findings intensified scrutiny around the conduct of senior police officials involved in handling the Palapala matter. IPID National Head of Investigations, Thuso Kifilakaye, confirmed that investigators identified several serious procedural breaches linked to the case. Among the most damaging findings was that Major General W.P. Rodi allegedly failed to ensure that a formal criminal case docket for housebreaking and theft was properly opened. Instead, according to IPID, an unofficial operation was conducted to track suspects and recover the stolen money. The report alleges that state resources were utilized, travel documentation was falsified, and the president's authority was invoked to avoid scrutiny during the operation. Despite the gravity of the allegations, Rudy remains head of the Presidential Protection Unit. Ramaphosa has repeatedly distanced himself from the controversy surrounding the investigation and said I had nothing to do with it. So that is a process. As I've always said, processes must play themselves out, and all these matters are being handled by the right institutions, and we must allow those institutions to handle those matters. For the first time since the dawn of democracy, the ANC cannot independently dictate the outcome of the Section 89 process. That reality creates unprecedented uncertainty for Ramaphosa and his allies. Every major political formation, from the ANC and DA to the EFF, MK Party, and smaller opposition parties, now faces immense pressure to declare its position when the report returns to the National Assembly. What's your take on this one, people? Thanks for watching. Please subscribe for more news.